Today in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about my vegan journey. It's been very hard for me to find a community I feel comfortable being in. I joined a few groups in Facebook and they are not... There's a lot of scary people out there. I hope that with coming forward with this video, I can find a community that makes me feel comfortable and safe. I have been a full vegan for about 4 years. I went ahead and decided to finally become a full vegan after I left Starbucks. I was almost fully vegan, but I had still been eating a little meat here and there. But after I left Starbucks, I went ahead and fully dove into it. And honestly, for the most part, I know a lot of people, and you'll see a lot of people do this whole, I just feel angelic. I just feel like I am one with the earth. I really don't have that feeling. I just feel normal. I can't really say I felt super different. I do feel lighter. I feel less heavy, less dense, if that makes sense. I do still have a lot of stomach issues that I've used to have, but I feel like that's just me. I've suffered a lot of stomach issues in the past. I had my gallbladder removed. So I've had a lot of issues with my stomach. So I can't really say whether or not veganism has worked out for my stomach. I really don't see all these major super benefits than what people say. Could also be how my veganism is, what's the diet like that I'm following, what I'm eating. But for the most part, yeah, it's not, you don't just start you don't start gliding across the floor and flowers and plants don't start growing once you become vegan. That's not how this works. A lot of people talk about why they became vegan. I became vegan for several different reasons. One, didn't like the way meat was being processed. I feel like there's an overproduction of meat and it's not being produced the right way either. Chemicals, so many things going into this meat and then going into my body. I didn't want to be another statistic. I didn't want to be another heart attack, another stroke, another blood clot. I didn't want to be that. And I just wanted to feel better inside and out. I also really love animals. And it was funny how I never put two and two together, how you could love animals, but also be okay with the constant onslaught of what these animals deal with face to face. Like every single day, billions and billions of animals are being slaughtered. I'm not gonna sit here and continue to preach because I know that it's a very tough line. I know a lot of people believe that animals are here for us to eat them and that's the way it should be. Our ancestors did it and so we'll do it. Like that's great. If that's what you truly believe, then there's really nothing I can say to make a difference. And that's absolutely fine. That's how you grew up. That's how you'd like to live your life. And that is fine. I am accepting of everyone. And I wish that people would be the same. The same way I can respect why a meat eater would choose to stay a meat eater, I wish that people would choose to respect my choices. Because it's almost like I'm being treated as if I'm eating something that has never been eaten before. I'm eating fucking fruits and veggies. Like, relax, it's plants, it's nothing. I'm not eating crazy shit. There are people out there eating shark fins, okay? Whales. Albacore. Have you ever seen an albacone or albacore? What is it, albacore? I think it's albacore. Clams. We've got people eating brains of sheeps, cow stomachs. Have you ever seen a cow? Have you ever smelled a cow stomach? Listen, my father was Dominican, is Dominican. I'm half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, right? And my father used to make, I don't know what he made with that. Oh my God, was it the sancocho? Anyways, so he used to boil, okay, cow's stomach. First of all, cow's stomach looks like a scrunchie. Like, I was trying to see if I had a scrunchie in my head. It looks like a spongy thing with like holes in it, and it's not a good look. But the smell, let me tell you, it smelled so bad that I didn't even want to eat it. And he was like, just eat it. Trust me, just eat it. My father was one of those, like, you had to eat, like, just eat it. Like, and it was nauseating, okay? But anyways, we got people eating stomachs, okay? We got people eating assholes. Pigs' assholes. Don't people eat that? We got people eating pigs' feet, chicken feet, whatever. My point is that we have people eating some really nasty shit of an animal. I'm eating plants and leaves and shit and herbs. And everyone's like, what a disgusting, like, how do you live with yourself? I don't know. How do you live eating what you eat? No judgment, but think about it for a second. You're judging me and telling me I'm crazy for eating plants, essentially. fruits, vegetables, whatevs. But you're eating stomachs, feet, assholes, ears, what else? I mean, you name it, people eat it, you know? There's no animals off the list. We've got lambs, ducks, rabbits, whales. I mean, you know, bats. My point is there's too much of it. For me, I feel like there's too much. And I want people to understand that I'm not, you know, there's a lot of vegans. There's a lot of different spectrums of a vegan. There's the crazy ones that treat it like a religion, where it's there, you gotta follow it by the book, and this is how you have to do it. If not, you're a shitty vegan, screw you, get out of the group. It's that serious. There are those. There are the ones that I call them scaredy vegans, because they're not sure about anything. Like, should I eat this honey? Is honey vegan? I accidentally ate some sour cream. Is that okay? What should I do? Oh, I want to turn vegan, but I have a bunch of animal products. Should I throw all the animal products out? What should I do? Those are what I call the scaredy vegans, the questioners, the ones that want to live their life based on what they think what other people's veganism is, okay? However you'd like to do that, essentially, is up to you. It really is. Stop thinking that you have to live your life to how everybody else does. You know, you could meet somebody who's a vegan and they're 100% vegan. And I mean, when I say 100%, the closest they can get. Nothing in their house is made from animals. They twine their shirts out of yarn and out of twigs and shit. I mean, if you manage to find that person, that's great. But it's just not realistic. It's really not. There's a lot of things that I'm sure I use that are still made with animals, but I'm not aware. I try to make conscious decisions, but at the end of the day, for you to shame someone and tell them how to live their life based on how you believe veganism should be done, all you're doing is making our cause worse, and you're making us look like crazy people. And then you're also inhibiting people from wanting to join. Why are people going to want to join when we're these judgy assholes that tell them how to live their life? Or we shame one person for eating a fucking chicken nugget. Understand that this is a transition. This is not something that's simple, and it's an addiction. Addiction is one of the worst things that a person can get over. And your body can also respond to it in different ways. There are some people that can't be vegans. They'd want to be, but they can't. Too much roughage, too much, I mean, greens are greens. Let's call it what they are, but they can take a toll on your stomach, and your stomach has to be able to eat certain things, very fibrous things. Lots of veggies can cause lots of gases that are just not good for certain types of people. We all very different. Our bodies work very differently. That's why there's so many different diets, but I wouldn't call veganism a diet. I think veganism is a lifestyle. But once again, you can do it how you want it. Truly believe that. I think any contributing thing that a person does helps the cause. Because once again, if you're in it because you don't want animals to suffer, then recognize those small little things that a person does. Meatless Mondays, fishless Fridays. Maybe some person is 4 days vegan, and then the other, days they eat meat, but maybe they don't eat too much meat. I understand what frustrates you. It's the fact that you just think, well, if they're just going to keep buying, they're just going to keep producing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's going to be a thing forever. Please understand this. And I don't know, this might make a lot of people hate me and not want to watch me, but I'm a realistic vegan where I understand that slaughtering of animals, unfortunately, will never stop. It's just what we live in. We are living in a predominant world where animals are seen as food. It's just what it is. They're part of the food chain. But there's an overabundance, that I can say. To sit here and think that at some point we will be a vegan world. Unfortunately, it's just not something that is going to work for just a lot of different reasons, but it just won't. And then once again, think about it as well. So then we flip from eating too much meat to now taking too much of plants, fruits, vegetables, which I know what you're thinking. There's no way. But also, if you want your veggies and fruits to be grown a different way, they need time to do that. Mass producing of vegetables and fruits can actually be a really bad thing. All of a sudden, pesticides will start being used a lot more, and steroids and things like that in order to grow veggies and grow fruits at the capacity that they need. This is exactly what's happening with the meat industry. Chickens and pigs and cows are being pumped with antibiotics so they get jacked up and they grow up real quick. I don't think eating lots of chemicals is a good thing. That's all I'm saying. I think that the way our food is produced, and this can be the same thing for veggies and fruits, a lot of the ways that our food is produced is not healthy for us. It's just not good. We shouldn't be eating it that way. With additives, you know, that cute little word, additives, preservatives. Those are scary words because usually they're used with, it's usually chemicals that are used. Wax. Did you know your fruit is waxed? Yeah, it is. Do you want to know how to take it off? You just dip it in some hot water. Or not dip it. You let it sit in hot water, warm water, and the wax falls off. But there's wax on your fruit. There's amounts of bugs that are allowed to be in your food. Every single thing. The FDA regulates, but they also allow a lot of stuff that you probably don't want to know about. You don't want to know about the hot dogs and the sausages. So moving on to my actual journey, becoming a vegan honestly was very easy for me. The hardest thing for me was just adjusting my life and how I was going to prepare meals for myself, how I was going to find substitutes for things, and then really reading my ingredients and making sure and having to call. I've had to call companies, which is something I've never had to do. Now I gotta call companies now on the phone. Hey, is your product is it vegan? Okay, just to have the seal on it. Okay, but it is vegan. Okay. And then you get that one person, because then there are certain items that you would never think, oh, of course that's vegan. It is what it is. Sugar is made from the bone char of animals. I think I've said this before on my last video. That's not vegan. So you got to call a company. Hey, is your sugar natural sugar, or is it used out of bone char? Or the other day I had to call I needed red wine. I had to call a company. Hey, is your red wine vegan? It says organic, but I just want to make sure. And a lot of people don't know that. So they'll sit there and be like, of course, it's grapes, you dumbass. But knowing the process and knowing what your food actually, your food goes through before it comes to you, it's a lot. Let's talk about something very important. This is supposed to be my journey, and now this is just talking about veganism. But, so there is a vegan seal. I'll put it up here for you. There's a vegan seal. It's certified vegan. I'm sure you've seen it if you're a vegan, whatever. And basically ensures that your product is not made with any animals. However, I don't know if most people know that your product can be used on shared equipment. And what they basically leave it up to is the companies themselves to clean and sanitize the entire machines before they put the vegan products on. So that's why always in the bottom of the boxes you'll see something that says may contain traces of milk, trees, soys, animals, blah, 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 whatever. Because one, it's a liability for them. In case you get sick or whatever, you can't be like, it was you, like causing all sorts of issues. When you think of things like that, you can't even trust the seal. The seal's a lie. You look at the seal and you're like, I trusted you. You betrayed me. That's pretty much what it's like. So yeah, I can sit here and say, yeah, I'm absolutely 100% vegs, but you really don't know, do you? And the only way you really would know is if you're just literally eating straight up fruits and veggies and you eat no processed food. And some people do. That's fine. It's called the raw diet. There's a lot of different diets. We got whole food, plant-based diet. We've got raw diet, which is just having things just the way they are. No zest, no processing, nothing. Just fruits, veggies, meat. That's it. And that's fine too. But if you're someone that usually buys products, which I do, I'm not a raw diet. I eat certain processed. It just depends. I'm very little processed. But I do have certain things that say, the same thing. Made on shared equipment, but has a vegan seal on it. So I can't say I'm 100%. I'd like to be, but I really don't know. And also when you go out into stores and you're eating your vegan options and whatever they give you, you don't really know. Do you? Were you back there? Did you see that? Did you see the whole process? How do you know they didn't sprinkle some beef juice, in your soup? Sometimes it's scary though. You want to eat a certain way, but the world is conditioned to eat one way. So you kind of have to still blend in this way. And it can make being a vegan very difficult, especially for people who like to go out, who like to enjoy restaurant settings, but are very scared to look. You're scared that you're either going to be that extra person that, that waitress is going to hate your ass and she's going to go home talking about your ass. You're going to be that person. Or or it can be a wonderful experience for you. But a lot of times it can be very difficult. And I've seen a lot of vegans complain about that. It's not that. It's always, there's issues, there's complaints. They've ordered things and it'll come with meat in it. The plant beef is meant to look the same as the regular beef. And so you have employees who don't really, first of all, they don't give a flying fuck. But also they're just looking at it and they're moving fast. So you could easily get the beef instead of the plant beef. And you're mad. You're mad at Carlos because he didn't remember to do your plant beef instead of your beef, even though they're both made to look the same. My point is there's a lot of trust that goes into that. And it can make it very difficult. So for me, you know, when we judge others and we are those people that do that, it makes it very difficult for anyone to want to do it. And then you push people, and it's the way you go about it. I've seen vegan people be so disgusting to each other and to outsiders who are learning, who are trying. And it's just, you know what's funny though? What's funny is they'll always make jokes about how meat eaters are angry and meat eaters are so obsessed. Or that meat eaters are angry and blah blah because they're eating meat. You're eating plants? So why are you so angry? What is it that's making you so mean at Bethany? Why are you screaming at Bethany? Because she accidentally had a chicken nugget with some sour cream on the side. Why? She's human. Let it go. It's not that serious. I've seen people that, like, I mean, just tear people down. It's not okay. It really isn't. First of all, you're an adult. Grow the fuck up yourself. And then second of all, who are you to tell someone how to live their life? And then when you do that and then you sit there, you're part of the problem. You're discouraging and making a person feel some sort of type of way, and then they're not gonna want to, like, they're gonna be like, oh fuck this, these are my people, these are who I'm gonna have to be around. No, I don't want to be around. They're angry people. And we shouldn't be, right? Because that's the whole thing. Everyone's like, because I'm elevated, I have become this new person and I'm happier and lighter for it. So why the fuck are you such bitchy, judgmental assholes? Ask yourself that question. So primarily what I do for my vegan diets is I do cook a lot for myself. I try to make every single thing for myself, like substitute wise. I really don't buy much processed food, like the microwave meals. I don't buy those. I have maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 things I can pull out of my fridge that's processed. But there are things that typically I don't think I could make myself, and if I did make myself, it would take me a long time. Like for instance, cheese. I still haven't gotten up the courage to make cheese myself. So for now I do buy cheese. Another thing that I really like, that's a very quick thing to eat, and if I don't have time, once again, it's a very good alternative, would be Dr. Pragers. They make burgers, they make plant tenders, they make a lot of good quick options. Their sodium level's really good on them. And when I say really good, I mean as opposed to what you normally get in those things. Sometimes your sodium levels can be 800. I believe Dr. Pragers is pretty good. It's like 400, which, like I said, is still considered decent. If you're going to have something that's processed, whatever, just still make sure you're reading your ingredients, you're checking your sodium, your sugars, things like that, and then look at your ingredients. If it's 6 to 10 ingredients, that's pretty good considering the paragraph sometimes you'll see on certain processed food. There is, if anyone likes Hostess cakes, the Hostess Cupcakes, my fiance got it and I let him have his little things here and there, but it's legit a paragraph of ingredients. It was like reading a book, like the beginning of a book. It took up one side of the box. Like that's too much. That's a good example of what's too much. And most of it, of course, is in scientific terms, so you really don't know what the hell you're getting. Red dye number 1, yellow number 5. Those are usually bug secretements that are in your food. Did you know that? Did you know that vanilla flavoring is made from beaver ass? Pretty sure it's the liquid that the ass of the beaver secretes. That's your natural vanilla flavor. Check that out. The world of veganism can be an amazing thing because it can really open your eyes to how your food is being made, what goes in it, and trying to stay away from those things. So when it comes to things like that, I fully encourage people to really go outside the box and look at those things. Would it be helpful if you were fully vegan? Sure. But If that's just not your life right now and you don't want to live that life, that's fine. Remember that any contribution that you make makes a difference. Whether some people believe so or not, it makes a difference. Slowly but surely, more companies are adding plant-based substitutions. They're adding vegan options. They're adding more dairy options. I've seen dairy-free. If you go to Sprouts, I don't know if anyone has a Sprouts next to them, but if you go to Sprouts, if you go to Whole Foods, I'm talking about shelf upon shelf of dairy-free creamers and milks now. That wasn't there 5 years ago. Yeah, we've made a substantial difference. But it's by standing as one and being supportive of each other. Not being the disgusting people that I see on my Facebook group that I really don't want. I don't even want to engage with these people. Like, sometimes I write a comment. I go to write a comment and I'll like delete it because I'm like, no, I'm too old for this. I don't want to get involved in this shit. Because you never know what might trigger someone. Because on top of living in a world where we're full of sensitivity and people get so offended by one thing, now we're living in a world where people want to dictate what other people do with their lives. And so if one thing doesn't get you, another thing will. My vegan journey has been okay for the most part. The biggest thing that I've noticed that my body has suffered is my hair. My hair has taken a really, really bad turn. It's become drier than the Sahara Desert. It's become brittle. It falls out more than I've ever seen in my life. And your hair should fall out. Yes, it's very normal. I think it's like you drop like 1,000 hairs a day or some shit like that. I'm dropping piles and piles of hair. It's not cute. My hair, if you see me now in videos, my hair is usually up because it becomes so dry and so unmanageable that I literally can't leave it down because it's just going to become a tangled, manged mess. The moisture is like completely sucked out of it. And it's almost like it's lacking protein. But, because I know most people are going to be like, well, I need more protein. I've gone to my doctor. I'm fine. I'm a very healthy vegan. But however, my hair has suffered. Whatever I was getting from my meat diet was helping my hair benefit. But now, even though I'm healthy, I'm not healthy enough, I guess, to be supporting my hair. And my hair is very important to me, you know? So like, I gotta get her back. Other than that, I really haven't noticed much difference. I don't think I'm more energetic than I used to be. I think being energetic in itself is just, getting exercise, getting up daily, drinking water, getting sleep. I think that's just normal. Like, everyone should do that. I don't feel this, I've seen people in the group like, I'm beaming. I'm ready to go. They're ready to like run marathons. I'm not getting that. But once again, I mean, it could just be the kind of vegan diet I'm on. I don't know. I enjoy being a vegan because it allows me to cook a lot. It allows me to be very creative in the kitchen, and I really like that. But if you're somebody who doesn't like to be in the kitchen, you don't like to cook, and you really are not accustomed to doing those things, being vegan can be a very big struggle for you, especially if you're trying to eat it in the healthy way, because you can be a vegan and then you can just eat processed stuff, and that's not good for you either. Remember that a lot of vegan things are made with a lot of substitutes. So you're going to get a lot of oils, you're going to get a lot of fats, you're going to get a lot of things that you really shouldn't be eating. This is the only way we know how to substitute right now. So that's just what it's going to be. But remember, if you just lessen those, you'll be fine. Things like, vegan butter, things like vegan cheeses, all those things, those solidified things, most of them are chock full of oil. It's usually the first ingredient. So just look out for things like that and you should be good to go. I've also taken on vegan baking, which has been so fun for me. It's a very big thing for me. It makes me feel very proud and happy that I'm able to do those things and able to, turn something that was made with animal products into something that's vegan and share that with people and help people that are like me who like to bake and probably don't know how to transition those things, or, just help anybody that doesn't know how to transition and make things veganized. To be able to do that really gives purpose and value to what I do. I had struggled a lot with depression and being very unhappy, and I stopped doing videos because of it. And a lot of the reasons why I continue to do videos is because I keep hoping that I am making some sort of impact to someone and I'm helping someone. Because You may never really know what kind of impact you're making to anybody's life. And it's not just YouTube, not just videos in general. You may be somebody that's really helping someone right now and you don't even know it. Maybe because they're not vocal about it. I think it's important that people continue to do what they do because you never know the difference that it could make. Just because no one is saying anything to you doesn't mean that it's not making an impact. And so every single time that I do a video, whether it's a little self-help video or how to, or it's a rant talking to you about businesses and things like that, I hope that it enlightens and helps people to make better choices for them that will eventually lead to their overall happiness. For me, transitioning wasn't bad either. I didn't get a lot of the issues that people were saying they got: the bloating, the gas, the withdrawals, the dizziness, the nausea. I didn't get any of that, probably because I transitioned very slowly. It wasn't something that I did like cold turkey. If anyone needs any advice as far as what vitamins to take, I can show you vitamins that I take. And if that makes you feel more comfortable, those are something that you can incorporate into your diet. As a vegan, you're going to have to substitute and make sure that you are supplementing and you're getting the things that you need. But there are certain things that vegans don't get that they need to supplement with. It is organic, of course, fully vegan. I use a lot of Garden of Life products because they're fully organic, fully vegan. I don't have to worry about nonsense, garbage, things like that. This amount is not too much, to be honest. It's 500 mcgs, micrograms, but your daily value is 2,833%. So the B12 essentially is to give you energy that you feel that you might be lacking when you transition, or if you're someone like me who just doesn't feel that abundance of energy, B12 can help with that. The next thing I take is Nutrigold's vitamin D3. Show you guys what it looks like. This is what it looks like. They're another company that's fully vegan, so again with them I don't really have to worry too much about like reading my labels, because most of their stuff is vegan. I think to all of their stuff is vegan. I think the only thing that's not is like their fish oils. This one is 1,000 IUs, which the typically what you'd want to drink is like 5,000. Vitamin D is something that majority of people are lacking in. For sure you get it from the sun. So if you're someone like me who hides from the sun, then you'd be lacking in that. It also helps with my joints as well. If you're lacking in vitamin D, sometimes that'll be a classic sign is your joints are hurting, your muscles are hurting. Those are certain things you should look for. Fatigue. I'm gonna get every single person out being like, I got that lack of D now. That lack of D. Next thing I drink is Daily Probiotics. This is again a Garden of Life product. This is the one that has no refrigeration needed. I don't do with that refrigeration stuff. Why? You wanna know a secret? Because the bottle will usually do this cute thing where it's like, they arrived alive. No, they didn't. No, they didn't, okay? By the time usually probiotics arrive to our store or any store, I can guarantee you they're not cold. They're lukewarm, if not warm, and then the person puts them in the shelf and you believe they've been sitting there for, however long. Another thing with probiotics is a lot of it gets lost while it's sitting there, while it's in processing, and then of course from temperatures. Let's say you have a probiotic that is supposed to be sitting in the cold, but it's not transported that way. So by the time it gets to that store, they put it on the shelf and it's now chilling in the temperature it should be in. It's most likely lost some of the probiotics that are in there. So with probiotics, you can't really overdo. If you do, you will notice some things like diarrhea, but usually the more the better. Probiotics is good bacteria for your gut. Your gut is one of the most important things that help you to stay healthy. The one that I take is 50 billion. I did try taking the higher one that was 100 billion. It was too much for me. It was making my stomach hurt. That's another, sign. If your stomach hurts a lot or you start to have diarrhea, it just means it's too much for you, and that's fine. Also look at the strands. This one doesn't have much. This one is 16 strands. The one that was 100 had like 53 strands. And sometimes if your body repels something, it's because it doesn't need it. Next thing is Nutrigold. This is magnesium. So a few things with magnesium. The chelate version is usually the best version. It's the most absorbable. It's also the one that has the least amount to have like chemicals and things like it in it. This one you can have with no food. Also, I take magnesium for a few different reasons. I do suffer from headaches. I have anxiety, I have stress. So headaches seem to plague me a lot, especially during my time of the month. So this is what I use magnesium for. You don't have to take magnesium as part of like your vegan diet, but if you're someone that struggles with headaches, you know, joints, muscle pains, you work out a lot, you want something to kind of help you with that, magnesium could help you with that. It also helps to calm your mind. So if you're somebody that has trouble sleeping, magnesium can also help with that as well. Another Nutrigold. It is their daily one women. It's just to help me make sure I'm getting everything I need. You totally don't have to take a multivitamin. I mean, you can ask your doctor, and if they feel like based on what you've told them you might need one, then they'll just say, hey, you might need one. Last but not least is Mega Foods Blood Builder Minis. If you're somebody that has a hard time swallowing pills, me, minis is where it's at. They're very small. I don't know if I can show you see how small that pill is, right? It's not bad. I drink 2 of them a day. This product is awesome for a lot of different things. Typical iron can cause a lot of issues for someone. Constipation, nausea. You can't eat it on an empty stomach, but it's best for you to eat it on an empty stomach. Like, it can be a real shit show. But if you're someone that has had issues with iron, I urge you to try this. You probably won't see any like significant difference for 6 weeks, but this product has had clinical trials. So it's actually been tested and shown that it does make a difference. I can also vouch for it. I've been anemic for most of my vegan journey, but when I started adding this, I had no problems. My last tests were good, and I actually wasn't anemic. And once again, I mean, if the minis are too much or whatever, you could just get the bigger tablets and just drink 1 of that a day. But with the minis, you just drink 2 a day, and you can drink them like at the same time. They don't taste great. So like if you're gonna get ready to drink them, like drink them fast. they don't taste good at all, but they work. That's what matters. Other than that, I would encourage you to, of course, drink water. Mostly water is going to be your best friend, helps with cleaning and filtering your body, which is very important for your body to be able to function the way it should. If you guys want, I can do some of my favorite vegan products that I use. I could also do vegan recipes that I use in case I don't have time to cook. Anything that helps anyone with getting comfortable with veganism. And that's pretty much it. There's really nothing else that I could think of to say other than, you know, it's been a great 4 years for me, other than my hair, but that's okay. I'm gonna work on that, and I'll probably do a video on that too. I'm definitely not the first person that struggled with this. I've seen a lot of people on my groups saying that their hair has thinned and they've lost a lot of hair. So it seems to be a common issue, but it is not an issue that I don't think I can fix. So let's see. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about this. Are you a vegan? Are you not a vegan? Are you teetering? How do you feel about it? I also do want to say that if you're going to say what you're going to say, please be respectful. Like I said before, I am very respectful of how people want to live their life, and I find that it's very important that other people should be that as well. That's how we can make a better world where we can all communicate rather than destroy and tear down. I don't think that that's productive at all, and I really don't think that that's not the kind of society I want to live in, and I really hope that that's not the kind of society that most people want to live in. So keep it nice, keep it classy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and of course I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.